Coming to some more examples about journal entries. Let us generalize these for given transactions. The first transaction here is paid rent rupees 20,000. Now again the same thing, students, we must analyze which two accounts are involved here. In this transaction, paid rent, so the first account is rent account, and since the payment has been made, the second account would automatically be cash account. Now students, rent is a nominal account. Rent is an expense. Since it is an expense, it is nominal by nature. Whereas cash is an asset, so it is a real account. Now let us apply rules for these two accounts. Nominal account. The rule for nominal accounts is debit all expenses and losses, credit all incomes and gains. Since it is an expense, it would be debit all expenses and losses. That means rent account would be debited. Coming to cash account, the rule for real account says debit what comes in, credit what goes out. Now since we are paying rent, cash is actually going out. Cash is going out, that means credit what goes out. So it is now clear that in this transaction, rent account is being debited and cash account is being credited. Again, the date is not mentioned, so I'll mention the serial number here. Rent account debited, the account which has been debited is written the first account, and to the account that has been credited, that is cash account. The amount is 20,000. Rent account debited, so the amount corresponding to this is written in the debit column. The cash account has been credited, so the amount corresponding to it should be written in the credit column. We must not forget narration as well. So the narration for this entry is being rent paid. Let us look at second transaction, students. The second transaction is paid salary by check rupees 15,000. That means the first account here is salary account, since salary is being paid, but here the payment has been made by check. So the second account is bank account. Obviously checks are drawn on bank, so it is bank account. So now students, we all understand salary is an expense for the business. Since it is an expense, it is a nominal account. Bank relates to individual, it is a personal account. Now let us apply rules for it. The rules for nominal account: debit all expenses and losses. So salary is an expense, so should be debited. Whereas coming to bank, personal account rules are debit the receiver, credit the giver. Now here the payment is being made through bank. Since the payment is made through bank, the bank is a giver, so credit the giver. So now we have salary account debited to bank account. Since salary is being debited, it should be written first account, salary account, in front of it debit to bank, and the amounts are 15,000 here, and in credit also 15,000. Narration. Narration is being salary paid by check. So students, salary account was debited, so it was written as salary debited to the account that was credited, which in this case is bank account. Now coming to the third transaction that we have, it says that purchase goods from Neeraj. Now here we have purchased goods from Neeraj. So the first account is Neeraj. There is no mention of cash, so Neeraj's account, personal account, would be involved here. And since we have purchased goods, whenever we purchase goods, it is the purchases account that is affected. Now by nature, purchases is an expense, so a nominal account. whereas Neeraj is an individual. So his account can be classified as personal account. Now students, purchases is the nominal account. Debit all expenses and losses. The rule is debit all expenses and losses. So it should be debited. Whereas Neeraj is the one who is actually a giver. Because in personal accounts, the keywords are giver and receiver. So let us recall the rules: debit the receiver, credit the giver. Since we are purchasing from Neeraj, Neeraj is actually a giver for us. He is a giver. Since he is a giver, this account must be credited. So students, the entry would appear as purchases account debited to Neeraj, and the amount would be 30,000 and 30,000 being purchased from Neeraj. And at the end, we must not forget to total out the trial balance. The total in this case comes to 65,000 on both the sides.